Okay, so we got Stacy a greenhouse this year, and she's turned our yard into like this this food mecca where we have a bunch of stuff growing everywhere. So if I take you through, we got lettuce over here, we got cilantro, got a bunch of tomato plants we're actually giving away to a local community garden type thing. We've got the little bags of different stuff going out onto the patio. I don't know, we've got 4,000 different kinds of tomato plants, herbs, flowers, cucumbers, you name it, we got it. And then back here we decided to use the leftover siding to make a big long plot as well to match the house. And then back here we used some of the leftover things to, okay, which brings me to the point. Forgot that thing was on. We've got critters that want to get up in here like deer, and so what we've got is a motion detector sprinkler. So that's designed to keep the deer away, and obviously if you forget about it, it gets you too. So now I'm gonna have to go out and around. So all of these plants, that is a lot of work, raising them from seed to have them get eaten by either a deer or a rabbit, and we have bear around here too. I don't know if they'd try to get into vegetable stuff, but either way, we got critters that want to do it. So it's interesting because we're kind of in a little bit of a hole here, but over here,
I refer to it as a courtyard.
Yeah, it's a courtyard. So over here, I'm pretty confident that most deer probably won't come in this way. Because of the amount of furniture and stuff, not a guarantee. But so this area is where the garden actually starts. And then we have the outdoor kitchen that comes across. And then back here, we have this large bed. Now, deer could easily come down this hill or up through here, so that's why I set the sprinkler here. The one that just got us, because we forgot it was on, which that's another thing, when you put one in, you gotta make sure you shut it off sometimes. But kind of covering that area. Then over on the other side is where the hill drops down, and it drops down considerably. Not to say that something couldn't crawl up it. Doesn't look like much on the camera. Right here, I think we're okay because there's so many different rocks that it would be pretty unpleasant probably for the deer to walk up this side. And then over here, underneath the pine straw, because we were having a little bit of an erosion problem. I actually have, you can see I have one pallet down there. Underneath all this pine straw are a bunch of pallets, and I used extra pieces to nail them basically and to kind of hold that soil down and then cover it with the pine straw. And eventually what I'm hoping is that that'll kind of hold it in temporarily, and then once it eventually rots back into the soil, it'll be good and solid. You can see we're letting all this vegetation grow up through everything right now because the roots will hold things in. I may kill it later, but right now I'm definitely letting it grow to get a good root system in on the side of the hill to keep the erosion to a minimum. Out here off of the patio, we have a fairly steep hill, but this hill is easy for the deer to walk up. And I'm going to insert a picture here. There was a very nice large buck, one of the biggest bucks I've ever seen, that was actually standing right next to the patio stone here, eating something that we caught on our cameras. But here we definitely need some type of protection because it's easy for them to walk up out of the woods. Also the turkeys, the wild turkeys, they like to come up. I'm not sure that turkeys will eat your stuff, but they've been known to bobble around up here and carry on. And then rabbits. We've got a couple of pretty large rabbits around here. I think they call them cane cutters. They're basically like a friggin' 2-foot tall jackrabbit looking thing that's just, I think it's got fangs and claws. No, I'm just kidding, but they're pretty good sized rabbits. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we purchased. I'm going to show you how to put it together and kind of how to set that up. And I'm definitely going to set one up for this back hill. So I'll take you through that process and you can see if this is something that would be good for you or not. the first thing we needed to do is get some water out here. So we actually bought this spigot slash hose holder that we got off Amazon. We'll put the link in the description below. And then if you see that unique hose, Stacy loves these hoses. This is actually a metal hose. It's very, very flexible, doesn't kink, it works really good. It's very lightweight, it rolls up very easily. Spectacular hose. The only downfall with this hose is it's got a narrow diameter, so you don't get like a tremendous amount of water flow. It's perfect for watering plants, stuff like that. If you need something with a little higher pressure for cleaning something, that may not be your best option for the hose, but it's great for something you're taking off and putting back all the time. We even got her a small one for the greenhouse. All right, so this is what's called the Yard Enforcer. It's made by Orbit. They are not cheap. We ordered it off of Amazon. They run right in the neighborhood of $80 a piece. However, if you don't have a whole lot of options, I don't want to put a fence up. We've tried some other things that really don't really scare the stuff off. So this is, we've read some reviews. Okay, so there's actually two different options that you can do when you put this together. The little bit taller one, which is what I have in the back that I accidentally got sprayed by. That's for your larger animals such as deer. And then you can do it where it's lower to the ground, which is also for rabbits and different things that are closer to the ground. So because we have raised beds, we don't have to worry about the rabbits in those. But then we also have these little bags and things that are closer to the ground that, you know, if one of those little cane cutter rabbit, I say little, it's they're big because they're actually tall. They can easily put their head up into the basket, and or raccoons. I really don't know what kind of critters go for your vegetables, but I just want to make sure they don't. Now, on this back hill, what I have is I've got a lot of these little bags and stuff that's out there, so I want to have it low for the rabbits. But the cool thing about the back hill is it falls off. So even the larger ones, as they're coming up, it should be able to catch both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this configuration here, and these are very easy to put together, but I'm going to do this configuration for the lower setup for the rear. So what the lower setup entails is taking your valve that's here, it's got the screw there, and you put that on first, okay? And actually this does it, you can read the directions, but it'll do it for both setups to have this down first. So this goes on first, and regardless of which setup you're gonna do. Now, the next piece that's gonna go on is the extender stick, basically, and then you can also do additional pieces that will come off this, that when this valve opens, you can actually send multiple other sprinklers off this. So that's probably what we'll do on the back hill. Once we have this set up, we'll have this one spraying one, we'll run an additional hose over and have another sprinkler. So once it goes off, it kind of goes off in multiple places. So I'm going to screw this on, make sure it's snug but not too tight. Then the next, there's this additional little piece right here, okay? Now, if you're doing the tall one, this is going to go on the top here, but we're not going to do the tall one. So I actually have to take this piece off and replace it with this small piece that will actually mount right on the front here. That just will slide on. So I'm going to unscrew this. I'm going to take that piece off. There's a little piece of the tag that was left on there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece on here and then put my screw back in. And you can adjust this kind of up or down depending on what angle you might need it at. I'm going to put it on straight for now, and we'll adjust it later if need be. So then the stake will go in the ground, and you can adjust these this way or this way depending on which way your hose is running. I'm going to push that little rubber ring back in, and then what's going to happen is, okay, so all right, let's try it. So what we have is this part here with the extension. This will slide in here, kind of pops into place. Then we have this little cable. So this goes from the motion detector to the valve that turns it on. Now, if you look, there's two little pieces on here that match up to the two little pieces there. So that pushes in. It's got a little rubber seal, and that's in there. Then The last piece is the sprinkler head on the top. And you can adjust these sprinkler heads and which way they spray and do all that stuff. I've never been very good with adjusting sprinkler heads to spray the right direction, but you can adjust these little pieces here for where it kicks on and kicks off, that type of thing. Got your main hose coming in here, and if you need to, you can continue on with the hose so it just runs a hose. So here's the valve. This is what gets decided, what everything from here on up gets turned on or off. So you can run a hose straight through so that you can have a hose going to another area with a handle or whatever. But the hose comes in here. Then when the motion detector is detected, it opens this valve. That sends water up the pipe. It can come out here, it can come out here, they're both capped, and then it comes out here. So let's say that I'm in an area that I need to cover a larger area, but I want to catch the motion first. So I catch the motion with this, so I can actually have two separate sprinklers coming off of this that will kick on at the same time that this one does.
But the important thing I think to note is that those can be those don't have to be specific.
These don't have to be specific.
These can be your cheap little.
Yep, these can be your cheap little sprinklers. What I would do is I'd use this style of sprinkler that does the, you know, the kind of the stream out there, because what you want to do, and when you get hit by it unexpectedly, it's pretty shocking. Now, one thing it did say in the directions is that sometimes if you have really smart animals and they're really hungry, they'll keep watching and they'll kind of work their way around it eventually. One cool thing though is we have all the way the perimeter of everything we have has cameras on it as well that alert us when things are there. So like the other night, we were sleeping and the alarm went off for the camera and jumped on there, and there was a rabbit running down the road. And but if anything comes up in the yard, we'll know it, and then we can go out and we can scare it off, worst case scenario. And all the fun, excitement, and trauma of getting hit by the water, I forgot about, we got to put the batteries in. If you look here, there's actually a little waterproof battery compartment. It's got a little lip up here for you to kind of push it out. If I can get a hold of it with my, pops out. It takes 4 AA batteries. So I'm gonna pop those in real quick. And really, you know, if you can use this just to keep the deer away, and the rabbits, great stuff. I think that's a little pointed too far down, so what I'm going to do is unscrew it a little bit here. Come up just a touch. How's that feel like for where you're standing? Like it pointing at you pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I think that might cover this area actually pretty good. So upon further reflection, we think that there's 2 sides to this hill that are vulnerable, and we actually have 2 more with the motion detector on them. So what we're going to do is put one in here, catching this area of the hill, and then one over there. On the side of this, it's got a dial. It says day, night, and always. So I'm going to turn it on to always. And then you may want to get back because it may go over that direction and get you. So I finally got it set up in the correct area. So basically, with the pattern, if it gets triggered, it does the whole area where I think something's going to come up. Thankfully, we were able to have a salad today from our garden, so we hope that this will continue to preserve that. If for some reason it doesn't, the next time we do a video, we may be eating venison tenderloin or rabbit stew, depending on which critters think they're going to take my vegetables. As always, doing things yourself might get you wet, but it saves you money and allows you to be free. See you in the next project.